guys, I want to introduce you to the Tullier family. That is, if you're not aware of who they are, the mother, the father, one of his sons, and a very, very close family friend. And we're going to keep this as positive as we can. So let's get right to it. Who was Nick?
You tell the story.
What story?
Who is Nick Tullier?
He's our youngest son. Been in sports all through his childhood. Once he, I guess, got grown and gone, then he got into law enforcement.
Was there a love for law enforcement that he always knew he was going to be an officer or a deputy?
No.
How did that happen?
We really don't know. First it was the military, and he wasn't old enough. So the next thing we knew, he was becoming a law officer. And at first, I don't think he liked it at all, because he was in the prison, and he saw things that he had never seen before. He didn't like it one bit.
Did he grow to enjoy being a deputy?
He grew to enjoy, good part of it, especially working with people. Nick loved people.
Enjoyed helping people.
Absolutely. He especially enjoyed children,
I think he liked it more when he got to motors and was able to ride motorcycles.
Yes, when he got into traffic and he was able to do motors, he enjoyed it a lot more. You're correct.
Yeah, back, you asked before law enforcement, was he looking at it? I'd say no, because when he was in high school, he had interaction with law enforcement, but it was due to his driving habits, I mean, driving up overpass, clearing all four tires, So he became a driving instructor. In law enforcement. He had a lot of background there. So.
How long was he in law enforcement? How long has he been with the East Baton Sheriff's Office?
Over 18 years.
So when he came to you guys as parents or as father or friend that, hey, I'm going to become a deputy, what was y'all's response?
He didn't ask us.
Oh.
No.
Never asked.
Nick didn't ask.
We knew after he had joined.
What was y'all's response?
Oh, well.
What you gonna say?
Did I like it? No. Because he was going to be in harm's way.
Or were you proud?
To protect and serve. Yeah, I was proud of that part of it.
I want the public to realize the Nick that you were telling us about. You've got 3 kids, 3 boys. Tell us the stories of little Nick, mischievous little Nick, out in the mud and playing around.
I think they were all mischievous, all 3 of my boys. Because back when they were born, things were a whole lot easier. The worst thing you could do to punish Nick or the other 2 boys was to make them go take a nap. That was the worst punishment in the world. He wreaked havoc with those other 2 boys because they experimented on him all kinds of ways.
They brutalized him.
Because he was the youngest?
Yes.
Because he was the youngest and, up to a certain point, small.
Tell us some of the stories. Tell us even one story. What's one of the stories of his childhood that you remember and laugh at now looking back?
I always remember the part where, we bought him a 3-wheeler for Christmas. Was it a Honda 60? It was a Honda something. Little bitty 3-wheeler, okay, but it was a real 3-wheeler.
It was a 70.
And they would tie Nick to the back of it and just pull him through every mud hole, over every limb. And Nick just laughed the whole time. He enjoyed it.
Yeah, but let's back up way further than that. When he was a baby, and the other 2 dropped him on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And then tried to get him to shut up over it.
Yeah.
Shh, shh. So
Jamie
3 typical mischievous little boys.
Absolutely.
So Nick has 2 boys himself.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Trained for one of them, obviously. Tell us about your dad.
Everything they just described, we've done it as well. Coming over the overpass with all 4 wheels off it, yep, we've done it.
And Dad be driving?
Nope.
Nope.
I was driving.
Oh, was he leasing the car?
Nope.
Okay, well, there's that. Tell the public about your dad. Who was Nick Tullier in Trenton's eyes?
This one's hard.
It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. Mm-hmm.
Dad was fun loving. Always liked to travel.
Oh yeah, big prankster. We were always
Oh, my
pulling
God.
pranks on us at the house.
Yeah.
Always. We always went to the gym. That was a routine thing every day.
Yes.
That's what we bonded a lot over. Cars as well. We loved cars. And a hard worker, that's for sure. He worked a lot of hours.
How proud would you say you are of your father?
Words can't describe. Extremely proud. You know, we had everything we wanted growing up, and because he worked his butt off for it. We always went on vacations. You know, Disney World, the beach. That's his favorite.
Yeah, he loved the beach. Being
Love the
one
beach.
with the dolphins.
Oh yeah, love the beach. The umbrella drinks,
Fruity
drinks.
umbrella drinks.
Fruity umbrella drinks.
pina coladas. Yep.
So what the public does not know is you're about to get married.
Oh,
Correct?
yes, ma'am.
How far is your wedding?
Less than 2 weeks. On the 21st.
21st of May.
That poor boy. He just don't know.
Whatever.
I've tried to counsel him. I've tried to console him. You know.
Oh, Handel's a wonderful person.
Yes.
Hannah is just wonderful.
I'm the boss of.
Oh, excuse me.
We've had that.
See her
We've-
nodding in the background.
we've
saying,
had-
"No, you're not."
She allows him to be boss at certain times.
We've had that clarified just within the past couple of days. You know. So.
Well, I want this to be an upbeat, if this can be upbeat at all. I want people to know who Nick is. If they don't already know, I feel like there's so many people across the country who are following Nick's story, at least for the last 6 years. If they didn't know Nick before 6 years ago, they know Nick now.
Yeah.
So I want to focus on the positivity. I don't want to focus on the negativity of that day.
Yeah.
What happened and what went through your mind. Ooh, we've been there. We've heard that. So if we can, let's go through all of you guys in a short way. Describe the last 6 years. What do you want the public to know about the last 6 years?
Nick is a people's person and a very determined man. He was determined to get better. I mean, he was listening when everybody said he was in a coma, when everyone said that he would never be himself. His mind was there. It just had to come out. And by going to rehab at TIER, they were able to help him or help us understand that he was there, you know. And then they helped him find a way to communicate. And he just continued to work as hard as he could.
And we saw
You know.
improvements.
Yeah.
We saw the Happy
You
Mother's
saw
Day
improvements.
note.
Yep.
We saw him hello.
You saw improvements,
Yes.
right. But once he started having surgeries and missing seizure medications, once he got that first seizure, then somehow they just continued. And the more seizures he had, set him back, you know.
Yeah,
And
pneumonias came into play. COVID came into play.
yeah, all kind of things. Just COVID really set us all back, but it really set him back. Because
he
once
lost his-
COVID, got there, then they had to shut down rehab. They had to shut down all other kind of, events that we could do, and
So he started losing ground to
Right.
COVID.
yeah,
He was progressing. I remember all of that.
right. He worked hard. It seemed like he'd work hard and get 3 steps forward and 1 step back. He just always would get a setback, and of course, that's depressing. That's depressing to anyone once you work so hard, and it would take him 20 times
But he kept working.
to work to that, getting there and being able to do something, being able to just say yes and no. you know,
Mm-hmm.
then he would get to the point that he couldn't move his head. You know, while laying in bed in this past couple of months, he just laid there, you know, and I was the only one to be able to communicate with him because I was there so so often, all the time. And he just got to that point that he just, you know, you could tell that he was just getting tired of it, you know, that it wasn't getting any better. But he kept on working, no matter what, you know. And we had to be that voice for him, get him everything that he could, you know, have to be able to get better.
By the way, just not trying to break the train of thought, but this is Noel. This is Nick's fur baby.
It is. Trenton, tell me the last 6 years, what have they been like for you from a son's perspective, watching your dad?
Ooh. That's hard to watch, hard to be a part of when you live with somebody every week, you know. We would go back and forth, so having that significant person in your life not there every day is difficult. I knew after he survived the first few days that he was going to fight because I've seen him get in bad wrecks before, motorcycle accidents, seen him fight through that, so knew he wasn't going to give up. I mean,
Nick got in a bad motorcycle wreck one time. He was coming around the curve on his police bike, and a lady turned directly in front of him. He T-boned her, never hit his brakes. He did what they call Superman, over the
60 feet.
65 feet down the road, landed in the middle of the road. His helmet cracked. They thought he wasn't going to survive, you know. We got to the hospital. I saw Nick, and I knew then, oh yeah, he's going to survive, you know.
So
Yeah.
you know he's always been a
yes.
fighter.
Yeah.
Always.
Without a doubt.
Always.
Having been the mischievous young little boy.
Yeah. He was actually at that time at the hospital when we visited him. Then you can see his bone moving in his leg.
His leg was wide open.
And he's just sitting there laughing about it. You can see his bone.
His elbow was wide open.
Yeah.
His right foot was completely broke across the front,
shattered.
Shifted over one digit completely. So
you're nodding. You've seen all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, sir. You know, he had surgeries, so we've seen it, and we knew what Nick could take, and so, you know.
Seen this arm dislocated, that leg broke, that leg been broke, this arm been tore up, all in that one wreck.
Yep.
Sherry, and for people who don't know, Sherry Curley is just as much a big part of
Oh,
this family.
oh, absolutely.
She is probably y'all's daughter.
Yeah.
More so than she is Miss Kim's daughter.
She grew up with our children. Yes, she did.
Sherry, 6 years. Describe them if you can.
It was hard, very hard at the beginning, being so close to them since I was a young child. And just trying to help them whatever they needed. Food, they get you taken care of. And then when they went to Houston, would try to visit as much as I could. We started the foundation, and it was my hopes, that eventually Nick would take over the foundation. But now, since this has happened, we're just going to have to all try to do good work in his name and help people just like Nick always wanted to. He always did the Dream Day, fishing, and we'll just have to keep all of that going and helping different law enforcement families forward.
And since we're talking about that, let's go ahead and switch gears. All the money that's been coming in, if people can still continue to buy the t-shirts that you and Mr. James have on, these bracelets, and all that money raised, we're going to keep that going. And how are you going to spend that money?
Yeah, we'll put it into the foundation, and we'll be able to help other law enforcement families if they happen to have same type of situation, different situation.
Yeah.
Maybe their kid needs surgery, and we're able to help them and move forward and do what Nick would do and help everybody.
Yeah. But Sherry's been a godsend to us. Our other two children work and a lot of time work out of town, but Sherry has run everything while we're in Houston. She's done everything here. She's, from, whatever we needed, call her for it. Are all the fundraising events. She's been in charge of most of the fundraising events. So we can attribute a lot to what Sherry's done for us. Yes.
Agreed. What do you want the public to take away? What do you want to tell the public? Talk to the public.
Well, I want people to know no, not just because Nick is our son, but he's a special man. He's a people person. He loves people. He was told not to stop on the highways or whatever to help people with their cars and that sort of thing. That's not Nick. If he sees somebody that needs help, he's going to stop and help them,
Night before he was shot,
I remember that.
Yeah.
he stopped and helped a lady. Ended up being Montrell Jackson's aunt.
A lot of people tried to say Nick was what's the word I want?
I don't know where you're headed, but
Well, he wasn't racist. Let's put it that way. Nick didn't see color, not at all. He loved people, no matter what nationality they were, and he helped everyone. And he didn't care if you were the president of the United States or whether you were a man sitting on the side of the street or someone out there, needing food. He was going to help you. He was going to help you. He might not reach in his pocket and give you money, but he was going to take you somewhere and feed you.
his passion, though, was St. Jude's Dream Day Foundation.
He loved it.
Worked it every year for years, and he'd just wear himself down with it, and tell me, that's it, I'm not doing it next year, and next year comes up and he calls me up, I'm doing it. And so...
And then you get the call, Sherry, I have raffle tickets.
He was fantastic at
How
selling
many you want?
tickets.
10?
Yeah, how many you want?
Yeah.
10?
He asked you to buy them?
Oh,
Oh,
every
yes.
year.
I was asked to
Definitely.
go sell them.
Oh, there you go.
You
It's a
want-
full
you-
family affair.
Yeah. Oh, you and me both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted me to take him over to the Capitol, and how many books you want this time, Mama? 4?
Yeah, he wouldn't ask,
5?
how many tickets you want. It's how many books you want.
Oh.
He was a good promoter.
Books were in 10s and 20s, I think, and how
Yeah.
many books you want? So,
Trenton, what do you want to say to the public, to talk to the public the last 6 years? And since your brother Gage is not here, you can speak on behalf of both of you guys.
Getting with this.
You really want to speak on behalf of your
I
wild
can't-
child brother?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf
Okay,
of
well then
Gage.
let's just speak on your behalf then.
can I say one thing
Of course.
that I know from both of them? They miss their father
Yep.
dearly. And did he ever miss them? When they would come to see him in the hospital, oh, he would just get so down.
Yep.
Nick would get so down because he couldn't communicate with them. And he couldn't raise his hands. He couldn't talk to them.
Trenton, how difficult was that for you?
It was hard for them.
I don't wish that on anybody.
We'd be sitting there, talking, and Nick's face would get so intent because you could see he wanted to be able to get the communication.
Yeah.
And so, but he couldn't.
Couldn't respond.
In fact, early on, he told them that he was sorry. He spelled it out on an ABC board that he was sorry this happened to him.
Not sorry for himself. He was sorry for them.
What do you say to that, Trenton?
Nothing you can say.
Trent was 18. Gage was 17
Yep.
when this happened. And Nick was a very stern father, a very good father, but
He didn't know that Trent was jumping overpasses.
no. but yeah. But, he was there if they needed him for anything. And it didn't matter what, He loved his boys. He really did.
Yep. They were his priority in life.
That's right. His only priority.
Well, let me ask this, and if it's too sensitive, please feel free to just say we prefer not to answer it. People have asked, why keep him alive the last 6 years? Does anybody even want to answer that?
We didn't keep him alive.
Nick wanted to live. Nick answered the question.
You asked him point blank.
Absolutely.
Well, doctors would walk in and they would ask us, do you want to resuscitate? You know, if something happens, do you want to resuscitate? Mary would tell them, you shouldn't be asking us that. You need to talk to Nick. You don't understand. Nick is listening at you. Ask him the question, he'll answer you. And he would nod immediately. Yes.
This last surgery he had, when we took him in the room to talk to the doctor and whatever, I asked him in front of the doctor, are you sure that you want to have this surgery? And he goes, yes. You know, he made most of his decisions when it comes to surgery. Nick very much was in on all of his life. You know, that's why he worked so hard. You know, we didn't push him to live when he first got shot. He always breathed over the life support machines. What are you going to do? You know, you're going to do whatever it takes to help him do what he wants to do. And to live is what he wanted to do. He wanted to survive, and he wanted to get better so he could communicate and be a good father.
He wanted to live for his kids. You know, he had sons. He wanted to be able to direct them in life. He wanted to be able to kick their butt in life when they needed butt kicking. He wanted to be able to advise them.
I think you've got people here who will happily kick your butt.
Nah, he's too tall for me.
We'll get you a step stool.
I'll need it.
It can get you tours and stuff you don't want to go to.
A lot of people have said, oh, those poor parents. But that's never how y'all ever looked at it.
Oh, no.
You've always told me that as a mother, if anybody was dealt the same hand, as a mom, you're going to be a mom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. First thing I told my employer, you know, hey, look, I've got to resign. You know, we're fixing to move and take Nick to rehab in Houston. I'm going to take care of him. You know, I had no second thoughts. None.
You know, people told us for a long time, y'all are so strong. We're not strong. Nick was strong.
We just advocated for everything he had to have. From insurance to, you know, medicines, whatever he needed, we're going to see that he had it. Equipment to be able to, you know, to get better on, for rehab, whatever. I don't care if I had to beg, borrow, and steal. He was going to have it. Because he was determined to be better.
When did you know it was time?
I knew about a week before he actually died that he was getting depressed, that he was his liver was actually failing, you know. He just was not the same. And he would just stare at me, you know, as if to, you know, and then there's a cross in the hospital of Jesus Christ on the wall, and he would stare at that cross constantly. But he was tired, and he knew he wasn't getting better.
And you knew that you could read your own son.
Yep.
Mr. James, you called me this morning and told me the letters continue. They haven't been put off.
Oh, my goodness.
No, they hadn't. Today, you know, we get the emails showing what's in the post office box, and we've got letters in there from all over the nation. You know, in California, Washington, the state of Washington, Kentucky, North Carolina, Mississippi, Florida. So it's continued. You know,
people would want to come and just lay hands on him. They figured he was a miracle. You know, they wanted to put hands on him and just, you know, get some of that miracle that he was getting, you know.
Because he was a fighter.
He's a fighter. Yeah, absolutely.
He was a role model.
Absolutely.
He is. Let me correct myself.
We could be strolling down the hall to go get an x-ray done, and their patient would be coming. Good going, Nick. You know, looking good, man. You know, just people would know him anywhere. We'd go to the doctor's office or go here or go there. People recognize him everywhere. Even with a mask on.
How proud of your son, father, friend are you guys? 46 years. How proud are you of Nick Tullier?
I am proud of all my children. But Nick has worked very, very hard. Very, very hard just to be alive. I am so proud that he is the kind of man that he was, you know, the kind of father that he was. I don't know how much more I can say about it.
Trent, you have the best role model there.
Yeah.
People nationally have sent in letters saying that, hey, you gave me reason to fight, or I realized the things I complain about are not even worth complaining. This was your blood. This was your father.
Only hope that I can carry that with me. Words can't describe how proud we are of him. You know, wish it wouldn't have been so sudden. You know, we kind of saw it coming, but wish it wasn't like this.
How many people in that position that you would think that would live 6 months? Huh?
And I remember that
Shot in the
interview with
head.
Ted. Yes.
You know, shot in the abdomen. The abdomen, you would think being shot in the head was the worst. For him, it was the abdomen, you know, because it just tore everything up. And every time you operate on something, it gets scar tissue.
Causes more scar tissue.
Scar tissue causes more surgery. More surgery causes more scar tissue. Till you get to the point that you run out of places to be able to remove anything, you know, or be able to operate on anything. So, you know, it is what it is.
You asked about across the country. I've had people message me, and you know, and ask under the our Facebook post, will this his services be live streamed? Yes. If anybody's local, you know, people have thought, well, surely some of this funeral is going to be private. No. Services are, you know, open to the public. Gravesite is open to the public. It's Nick deserves all the respect that he can get.
And I do want you guys to talk to the public. The amount of people who lined the procession on
Phenomenal.
Thursday.
Yeah.
What do you say to those people? What do you say to
Oh,
Thank
my
you.
gosh.
the last 6 years who prayed? You call and say, can you please make an update? We need prayers.
I read as many prayers to Nick as I could read. You hear me?
Yep.
James would bring the letters to the hospital, and I'd sit there for hours reading everything. And he's listening. He knows that prayer is a big reason he was there. He fully knew that, and he knew people cared about him.
And I think that's one of the lasting things from all of this happening, and things that Nick taught us: to come back to God, to find our way back, to love your family better, to think about what law enforcement officers do every day when they leave their families, and whether they're coming home or not, and to just be there for each other, to help, to encourage, to do whatever you can.
Unified.
Absolutely. I ask people not to forget. Not to forget Nick, and not to forget what he worked for. You know? Not to forget the police officers.
I don't want him to forget anything that happened that day to Brad, Montrell, Matt,
Matthew.
Nick, Bruce. Yeah, and Nick has worked, you know, all these years to survive every cop wants to survive for their families. And
You're just a hard-working man.
Nick was
That's all it is.
Nick
They
was
put their life on the line.
He was a gleaming example of, the will to survive. And so.
And you're stronger than you think.
They don't get paid much, not nearly what they deserve, and they have to work extra hours. There's a lot of people that has 2 cars and a nice home and what have you. An officer, an LEO, they don't have that luxury. They have to work extra time, doing extra duty everywhere else just to, a lot of times make ends meet, or make sure their children are able to have something that they want or go anywhere. I know Nick did. He worked tremendously, and it's very hard on a family and very hard on a marriage.
I think you can see one thing, we advocated for Nick, and Nick would want no less than for us to continue to advocate for cops.
Absolutely, and we will. We will work hard.
Is there anything else that you guys want to make sure is put out to the public?
Just say a prayer for Nick. Say a prayer for all the blue. Please.
That's James said it in a nutshell. Don't feel sorry for us.
No.
It's not about us.
The story's not about us.
It's about Nick, and it's about what he lived for, and it's about the continuation of people believing in the police departments. You want them to help you, you believe in them.
That's Nick's legacy.
You support them.
Trent, I'm going to close out with you talking to the public, so whatever you want to say.
Well, I'd like to say thank y'all for, praying for us every day and supporting Dad. Lastly, I want to say to all law enforcement is be safe and be careful, because it can happen to anybody. Those guys, they're not like an average worker. They don't just go to work and come home. They have to face monsters and rude people every day in the face. It's not an easy job, and it doesn't pay what it should.